In the first three stages of the Latin book, all of the verbs end with the letter T. That's because all of these verbs are in what we call the third person. Now, the third person, in case you don't know, is the form of the verb we use to describe what somebody else is or does. For example, Caecilius is a banker. Caecilius counts the money. In Latin, these verbs end with the letter T. Caecilius est argentarius. Caecilius pecuniam numerat. If Caecilius was talking about himself, he would use a different form of these verbs. Ego sum argentarius. Ego pecuniam numero. We do the same thing in English. I am a banker. I count the money. These sentences are in what we call the first person, because they're talking about what I am and what I do. Now, there's also such a thing as a second person, though these verbs won't always have a separate form in English. The second person is you, the person that I am talking to. And in Latin, these verbs will all end with the letter S. Tu es argentarius. Tu pecuniam numeras. Now, for most Latin verbs, the distinction between first, second, and third person is as simple as O, S, T. And since this is such a consistent pattern in Latin, the pronouns ego and tu, meaning I and you, are never really necessary. As we see here, ego ambulo means I walk. But the O on the end of ambulo already means I. So if I take away ego, it means exactly the same thing. Tu sedes means you sit, but the S on the end of sedes already means you, so I can remove the pronoun without altering the meaning. Now, until we get used to the endings O and S, our textbook will continue to use the pronouns ego and tu. But in general, the Romans used these words only for emphasis. Now, until we get used to recognizing these endings, the textbook will continue to use the pronouns ego and tu. But just keep in mind that the Romans didn't need them and generally used them only for emphasis. Just as in English, the verb to be is a special case, with the words sum, es, and est corresponding to the English am, are, and is. You'll come across all of these forms in the story that I asked you to read for today. Notice that when we're talking about Hermogenes, we'll say that he is a Greek merchant, that he has a ship. But when Hermogenes is talking about himself, he'll say, I am a Greek merchant. I seek money. And when Caecilius addresses Hermogenes, he'll ask, why do you seek money? You have a ship. For now, the pronouns ego and tu will always be there to help us recognize just who's doing what. But eventually, you'll learn to rely on the letters O, S, and T to keep track of this stuff. That's all for now. Post a comment below if there's anything that you don't understand. I'll see you next time.